This is the little Brunswick table that I was doing the rails on the other day. A little 3.5 by 7 Brunswick contender. Good little table, but whoever did the recoveries on this, see all this dark stuff up here? Well, that's overspray for glue. Well, it shouldn't be there. So, got to go along and scrape all this off. You guys are going to see how I flat shim the slates here in a little bit. But first off, we've got to scrape glue. So, I'll try not to bore you through all of the process of all 3 pieces of slate on 2 and 3 sides. So we'll just go through it. Take the time to record this and then I'll move on, and then when I'm ready to do get the slate shimmed up. I'm sure a lot of people like to see how I do that. But first off, this glue's got to come off. What happens with this glue, it's a buildup, right? And you don't put your cloth on. Well, with that little bit of buildup on every slow shot, you're going to have a little slow roll coming away from the rail on every shot. So if you want a flat table, if you want perfect slate, you've got to take all the imperfections off the top of it. And added overspray glue adds height. So we're going to get rid of that, and then we can move forward. Look at that, man. Look at that stuff, come on. Look at that stuff. I'm just not one of those people that like to leave a homeowner that doesn't know a whole lot about how a table goes together, or even what a really flat table is supposed to play like. You know, give them the best equipment that they can play on. That's mine. That's the way I do my table, and that's the way I would want my table to be done if I were paying for it to be done. Flip over the other side. This is nice and sharp from all the grinding you've been doing. And you can catch a little bit of stuff you may or may not have missed before. Don't go straight with it. If you go at an angle, then you can kind of slice into it and get a little bit of cut into that glue. And you don't want to divot the slate, but that's better than leaving it high. Slight little divot, scratch in the slate. Once the cloth stretched on it, it will not affect the play of the ball when it's just mini. This little scrape right here, you can see, like that, nothing. It will never affect the roll of the ball because the cloth will be stretched over it. Okay, I'm going to sign off for a little bit. Folks, I forgot to turn on the deal, but you started to see what I was doing with the cards and the shims, which, okay, you caught on. You always set up and figure out where your highest point of the table is. You can only level the bed so much, and I mean, get as close as you can, but that's about all you're going to get because it's not a finished level. Just use a construction level, get as close as you can. And then I use playing cards. They're about 5/1000 of an inch thick. And they work themselves, no squish at all. So I use those to shim up the slate. Now I went all the way around, and this thing is within half of a 5/1000. So there's only one spot that's out just a little bit. And, well, I had to pick the lesser of two evils. Is it up or is it down in that one little spot? So, pretty flat little table. Glenn's gonna be happy. We're going to get to the bed cloth as soon as and I used a little bit of Bondo on the slate seams. So once that is set and dry, I'll hit a little bit of sand, and then we will be ready to vacuum and start the bed cover. And then we'll put the table together. Okay, so we'll be on standby for a little while. I will. So, we are ready for bed cloth. Now, where did I put my cloth at? Here's my cloth. Before we get to really rock and rolling, set that aside. To go along on each of these corner pockets, I will cut strips out of these guys that I have left over from doing the rails. Now I'm going to cut some strips out of these for the corners, and I need my cardboard out of the car.